The time is ticking. Every second, minutes, hour, we get closer to the future we cannot ignore. This is not a game. This is not a drill. The countdown we're witnessing is real. It represents the time we have left to make a difference in the fight against climate change. Good day, everyone. We're here today to talk about a topic that affects each and every one of us. A topic that demands our attention and action. This is climate change. Climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperature and the weather patterns. Some changes are natural, but over the past century, human activities like burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and pollutions have made things worse. The results are heat waves, floods, droughts. Summer are extremely hot. Storms are stronger, and food shortage becomes worse.
Take a deep dive tonight into the science surrounding climate change.
Culture is the heartbeat of every community. It shapes us how to see the world and how we live in it. But what happens when the environment, the foundation of our cultures, begins to change? Climate change is not just environmental issue. It's cultural one. Locally, the impacts of climate change affect our traditional lifestyle, particularly the indigenous people, whose economies and ways of life are directly tied to land and natural resources. Ford Smith 2004. According to Kaklin to 2022, the Hanuno Mangyan tribe, one of the IP groups in the land of Mindoro, they rely on their deep knowledge of nature to sustain the way of life. But today, their very existence is under threat. They are traditional farmers known for their Sweden agriculture, a practice where they clear small patches of land to grow crops like rice, corn, and vegetables. But changing weather patterns are making this practice increasingly difficult. Our planet is changing. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is here, and it affects every corner of the earth. From the melting glaciers to devastating storms, from rising seas to drought, the stricken lands, the impacts of climate change are reshaping our world. In the Arctic, rising temperatures have caused glaciers to melt at an alarming rate. The once solid ice sheets are now receding, threatening the habitats of species like polar bears and seals. As the ice melts, it contributes to rising sea levels that put millions of lives at risk. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and intense. Hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones are stronger than ever, leaving a path of destruction. Wildfires rage across forests from Australia to California, while drought devastates crops in Africa and parts of Asia, threatening food security worldwide.
Climate activism has never been louder. Social media, films, protests are bringing climate change to the forefront. We've seen millions march in the streets demanding action from our world leaders. Activists like Greta Thunberg have sparkled global conversation, reminding us that no one is too young to make a difference. But the real question is, awareness is growing, but is it enough? What will it take to turn awareness into real action? Different countries responding to climate change in different ways. Take India for example. As a developing nation, it still relies heavily on coal, but at the same time, it's one of the fastest growing investors in solar and wind energy. Meanwhile, Germany, one of the world's clean energy leaders, is shutting down coal plants, but is also facing economic challenges in the transition. Every country has to strike a balance between sustainability and economic growth. The question is, are they moving fast enough?
If we know climate change is a problem, why aren't all governments acting faster? The answer often comes down to our mind: money. According to Stroke 2020, many economies still depend on fossil fuels, and the transition to clean energy and could disrupt.
The cost of inaction is already clear. We're seeing more intense wildfire destroying forests and roads, more devastating floods wiping out entire cities, more extreme heat waves that threaten public health and food supplies. Climate refugees, people forced to flee their homes out to rising sea levels, and natural disasters are becoming more common. If we continue down this path, the damage may be irreversible. The question isn't, will climate change affect us? It's how bad we'll let it get. But there is hope. Countries are investing in clean energy, and agreements like the Paris Accord are pushing governments to act. Solar, wind, and other renewable energy sources are growing every year. Businesses and communities are finding ways to reduce their carbon footprint. People, ordinary people like you and me, are leading the fight for a better future. The solutions are here. Now it's about how fast we're willing to use them.
The clock is still ticking, but it hasn't hit zero yet. We still have time to act. Every small action, every decision to use less energy, to support sustainable choices, to speak up adds up. The future is not set in stone. The question is, what will we choose to do next?